All right, guys, we got a good show for you today. We have Colton Dowell. He's a wide receiver for UT Martin. Thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate you for having me. For
Yeah,
sure.
so, I've been kind of doing like an FCS, having some of the top players come on from around the country. You know, everyone's kind of had this same feeling about your guys' season. It was like hard to find rhythm. Would you agree with that?
I would have definitely agree with that. And then coming off that shortened break we had, right? And it just really wasn't much time to get that chemistry with your quarterback as much as you would like to have. And it was just hard to get your team going because it seemed like you didn't have them 15 practices in the spring to really gauge who was going to be the man or who was going to be key players on offense and defense. So you kind of had to figure that out as the season went on. And it was hard to get the timing right, man. And the teams who did get the timing right, they did good. Like Murray State, they surprised everyone with that run they had. And it was just the teams that found their timing this year were the elite teams, and we couldn't do that. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Sure. Did you notice, like, was your playbook shortened, or do you guys keep the same playbook or with that?
Our playbook, it was kind of condensed to see. I don't want to give anything away, but I mean, it already happened. We run a lot of option routes. So it was kind of condensed anyway. So yeah, our playbook was kind of condensed. We didn't have that many run schemes in, and this spring was kind of like a test run of who our offensive identity is going to be in the fall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like it was condensed to an extent that we were just trying different things, and we couldn't really get deep into one certain scheme, if that makes sense.
Scheme of things, like, honestly, at least you guys got to play because you guys didn't even know if you'd get to. So
exactly,
football was better than nothing.
Exactly.
So, like, how do you feel like the season went for you on a personal level? You had 40 receptions. You had 5 or 6 receptions. It felt like every game when you playing.
Statistically, you look at that and you say, okay, yeah, he had a pretty good season for a condensed season and in 7 games. But to me, man, it was a lot left on the field, and I'm not a numbers guy, I'm not a stats guy. I mean, if we win, we win. But like, there's a lot of hidden yards left on the field this spring, and we're looking to capitalize on them in the fall. Like individually, I feel like I left probably 3 or 4 touchdowns out there just off of bad chemistry with the quarterback and me not and just a whole plethora of different stuff coming your way, and and there's just a lot of plays out there I needed to punctualize, and we're gonna get them in the spring the fall once we have more practice time with our quarterbacks and practice time with our line and everything else chemistry wise.
I mean, I was watching. That's why I asked you to come on, because I thought, down the line, like, you look like an NFL wide receiver. I've watched, like, from the huddles back in the day when you're in high school, and different things that have changed in the game. I could see how you have that consistent improvement, and you can see from year to year how it's like the little things. So I thought you would answer that when I asked you how you thought your season went.
Yeah, and I corrected little things, but there's a lot more technique wise I can get better at, and there's always going to be stuff that as a competitor you got to get better at, whether you're at the top of your game or not. Like Stephon Diggs, he's getting better at stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you're a competitor, I don't feel like you can truly sit back and say you're satisfied with what you did the past season and everything. But for sure, the technique wise, I can clean up a lot of stuff, and it kind of showed in the spring, and I can't wait to see the results of this off season.
Yeah. You talked about, your scheme. You went to UT Martin. It's, kind of that option. You had offers from like Army and Navy, some, Division I schools. What made you say, hey, I want to go to the FCS and go to UT Martin?
Well, with Army and Navy,
you have the service.
I'm a receiver, right? The service part, that's okay. I could handle that. But if I could handle the service if I was getting the ball, you know what I'm saying? If I was as a bigger part of the offense as I thought I could be somewhere like Martin or somewhere like, you know what I'm saying? So that's that with them. And as far as the FCS competition with Martin, man, I felt at home in Martin. It felt like a spot for me. I walked on the campus and I was like, okay, I'm cool here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my thought process and all the other offers. And
For
everything else.
for my sport, I'm going to an FCS school. I had Power Five big school offers, and it's really just where you feel comfortable at. I feel like it doesn't matter where you go because you're going to get good competition everywhere, and you can make the most of your opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always like ask, did people like Adam Thielen, Antonio Gates, Terrell Owens, all coming from these smaller schools? Do those guys like inspire you to like keep going in your journey and stuff?
Oh, definitely. I see To. He came from Chat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right down the road for me because I'm at 11 in Tennessee, so it's like 2 hours away from me. So I see Terrell Owens, and I'm like, okay, he made it. And then you see folks like Devontae Adams that come from the smaller schools, non-Power 5 schools that are.
Yeah.
He's on the top of the receiving game right now. You know what I'm saying? So like. So seeing them is definitely a motivator. It's definitely so like you can make it out of a smaller school, and it kind of shows you that if you're a baller, they're gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get there and they're gonna find you for sure.
There's Randy Moss does a thing in West Virginia. I know a couple of friends that played. Because West Virginia doesn't get noticed much. He does this camp and he has all the wide receivers come out and he has like some former NFL quarterbacks going throwing balls from him. Kids that never picked up offers because no one saw them. They end the walk with like 5 Power 5 offers.
I mean,
it's not getting that notice.
Exactly, and it's insane how much influence that one person that broke through from the small area that how much influence they have and that's the influence I'm trying to have in Lebanon if I can stay the course.
Yeah. So, NFL draft's coming up, right? Does it ever in the back of your mind, do you think, man, I want to, be there right now? And, what are you working on right now to prepare for?
Oh, man. I don't really have time to think about it. It's a great thought to have, but you can't really think about it because there's so much work to be done. And right now, I'm working on my mental game right now. I'm trying to cool off from the season, give my legs a break from sprinting and doing any type of explosiveness. But I'm sharpening my mind right now and figuring out different concepts and different coverages and what will work against those coverages and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for the most part, I'm that. But once I get back into the training part, I'm definitely going to go with working my breaks, working the releases. I'm going to have a heavy emphasis on releases because if you get a good release off the line at any level, and the rest of the route really doesn't even matter, honestly.
Yeah. So, with NFL draft, is there any, like, I don't know how much you watch. Do you watch a lot of football outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any one guy you like watching in this like upcoming draft? You're like, people are sleeping on him?
See, I'm a big name guy. You know what I'm saying? Devontae Smith, he's cold. I see he's cold, but I can tell you in last year's draft, T. Higgins was my guy. Like he's from Tennessee and he's my guy. Like I want to try to emulate him, in some ways in some certain aspects of his game, like his tough catchability and whatever.
Yeah.
But this year's draft, I don't know. It's pretty stacked up in the receiver room. They're all pretty big name folks, But I don't have any hidden gems. You have any hidden gems? I don't have any.
I have a couple. I have the O lineman from Whitewater, UW. I think he's the most underrated player. I think people give a D3 player like that, they don't respect him.
Mm-hmm.
And his blocking ability. I've known some people. I've known Pat Elfline. He plays for the Jets. I was talking to Pat, and he said this guy's dirty when he knows blocks. So I was like, Pat told me that. I'm like, he's underrated.
You gotta go with it for sure, man.
Yeah. So if you could learn or be coached by one former player, who do you think it'd be?
One former player, like any player at all.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. They got to be former?
No, it can be current.
Man, I think I'm gonna go with Julio Jones.
Yeah.
That dude is ridiculous. His deception off the ball is insane. It's like I don't know how he does it, but every route looks like he's blowing by you, and he just snaps out of it. It's like most of that's God given.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he would be able to give me knowledge wise on the game, it would be invaluable. There's no one else to me that would be able to.
The mental aspect of it, I feel like just talking to somebody, you can learn how he gets like in that zone. He knows like what he can read a cornerback where by his hands, where he's different things like that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think they got something good going down there at Jackson State with Deion Sanders. You know, he was an athlete. I'd love to learn from him too, because he could definitely tell me how to make different movements and gain leverage and stuff like that. I mean, it's a whole lot of folks out there that can drop a lot of knowledge on you.
Yeah, and someone like Deion, he's given a lot of he's given some FCS platform. He's starting to show that he's gonna have a few guys come into the draft and then start making a name for that.
And that's good for FCS ball.
Yeah,
and it's good for HBCU ball too, in particular.
Yeah, that's one of the best conferences. So final few questions, more relaxed. But who do you think has been the biggest influence on your career?
Biggest influence on my career. This is a personal one. I think it'd be my old teammate Jalen Moore. He's a practice squad player on the Ravens right now, but he kind of took me under his wing whenever I first got to Martin as a freshman. Coming in and just he kind of slowed the game down for me. Just watching him kind of helped me. It showed me what I needed to do to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd say he probably had the most influence on my career.
You probably don't have as memorable play as I talked to Daniel Smith. I don't know if you saw his pass from behind the back.
That was hard.
I was talking to him. I was like, what's your most memorable play? I knew he was going to say that. But what do you think your most memorable play of your career is?
Most memorable play? One of them happened here recently. They're both against the same team, Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
But one happened here recently. I took a 50-yard tunnel screen to the crib. And as a big receiver, that's cool for me. I don't usually get that opportunity, but I made the most of it.
Yeah.
It's either that or then that first 100-yard game against Tech, 150-yard game against Tech was special to me. How that'll be in my memory bank for forever. I had a 73-yard bomb on it. My favorite part about football is having a ball in my hands and running away from people. And I mean, that's when it comes down to favorite plays, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to be running away from someone.
Yeah.
For sure.
This one's pretty fun. What song are you bumping before a game?
What song you bumping before the game, man?
Sign language helped me out when that came out.
You said sign language?
Sign language too.
Sign language too. Okay.
That helped me recently.
Man, what do you play actually?
I'm a big Uzi guy before a game, or I'll play One Man Can Change the World with Kanye and Big Sean. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, that's hard, man. I'm telling you, them songs are Uzi. You can't go wrong with none of Uzi's songs.
Yeah, I'm a big Kanye guy. New Kanye, not as much before a game, but it's still good.
Yeah. I give you some Kanye. I listen to Runaway before games. I like the little piano. I like the piano in it. But before games, I like to calm down. I don't really get too pumped up on music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's gonna sound weird, but I listen to classical music like Bach and I like piano and stuff it just calms me down. And I'm go out there and catch some balls. It just relaxes me. You know what I'm saying? So nothing crazy, but classical. And then my teammates, of course, they listen to Pooh Shiesty and all that. And it'll get you pumped up too, though.
Yeah. We all have our ways to find that zone. Final question. It's always the hardest one. How do you want people to remember yourself when your football career is over?
Just that I was a good teammate. That's the most important thing to me and just being a good teammate and being there for people, and just being real with people. I catch myself a lot of times trying to make them feel good, but as long as you're real with people, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? So just that I was a good teammate and I was a real person, and I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It means a lot. We're actually some FCS guys are helping me with this show at Lafayette. So we really appreciate having guys like you on.
Yeah, for sure, bro. For sure. I appreciate the opportunity, man. It means a lot to me too. It's my first go around in something like this. So it really means a lot to me that you reached out to me.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.